If you sell software systems, you know your software demonstration can make or break the sale. In this video, I'll share some of my very favorite software demo strategies. You might not use them in every demo you present, but they're incredibly powerful when you do need them. Keep watching. Hi, I'm Bob Bundy, president of Rokay Services Group, and I've conducted and watched hundreds of different software demos. In this video series, I give you concrete tips and strategies that you can use right away to improve your demos and close more sales. It's not unusual for demo specialists to ask what the best demo strategies are that they can use in every demonstration. Well, just like a lot of things in sales and marketing, there's really no answer that works 100% of the time. Well, in this video, I'll share some of my very favorite strategies. These are ones I think have a big impact during a demo and ones I'm really comfortable using. But I don't use all these strategies in every demo because they're just not appropriate. And if you don't take anything else away from this video, that's it. Not every strategy and every approach in your toolkit is appropriate for every demo. So, let's get to it. No matter what type of system you're demonstrating, it's really not unusual for you to emphasize how much time your audience will save by using your software. Doesn't matter if it's an accounting software, a payroll system, or a nursing documentation system. You want the audience to feel they can perform key activities in just a few seconds or minutes using your system. Unfortunately, the nature of a demo isn't really conducive to demonstrating efficiency. Most demo specialists have a natural inclination to explain what they're doing. Now, I'm going to pull down that drop-down and select the correct option. The Detail tab is where I'll go to enter information about this encounter. They also have a natural inclination to describe different options they could use on the screens as they're going. Now, I'm going to check the confirm box, but if I weren't ready to confirm yet, I could leave it blank and come back to it a little bit later. And of course, it's natural for audience members to speak up and ask a question when they see something that really piques their interest. If I wanted to schedule that drug administration for 2 days from now instead of now, how would I do that in your software? All those things distract from what you're really trying to show, how quickly they can get something done in your software system and then get on with the rest of their work. It's not unusual to spend 4 to 5 minutes explaining and handling the discussion around a task that might take 20 seconds in real life. Now, does the audience really feel the impact of a 20-second task in your demo? Nope. The logical part of their brain tells them this task probably won't take too long, but they just felt you take 4 minutes to accomplish a very normal task for them. So, how do you handle that in a demo? Well, my number one strategy is to zip it while you're demonstrating the task. Set it up before you do it or explain it in detail afterwards, but keep quiet while you're demoing, and that way the audience can feel the amount of time it actually takes to complete it. One of my favorite audience participation strategies around this approach is to engage somebody to be the official timekeeper at the beginning of the demo. Then, whenever I come to a task where I really want to demonstrate efficiency, I'll engage that person. Okay, Tom, I'm about ready to enter a new prescription. You have the timer ready? Okay, go. As soon as I complete the task, I tell the timekeeper to stop the clock, and then I ask them to read off how long the task took. Then it's time for the big message. I compare the time it took to the time it currently takes them to do the same thing. There are other strategies and approaches that you can use for this same issue, but the zip it strategy is my very favorite. So, you're working through your demo. Things are going great. Your audience is engaged, and you've got a real rapport going with everybody in the room. But then it happens. Somebody asks a question, or they make a comment that takes your presentation down a complete rabbit hole. So, how does the Java that your software is written in compare to the VisualBasic.net? Because all of our other enterprise applications are written in VisualBasic.net. Can you explain the different sections of the HIPAA privacy rule and how your system addresses each of those issues? The point of your software demo is to show the end users the functionality that they'll be using. 99.999% of the audience doesn't care which programming language is used. Most of them probably couldn't name a programming language anyway. And yes, medical professionals want to know their software meets or exceeds HIPAA security provisions, but a 30-minute discussion on the legal components of the privacy rule does not give the pharmacists in the room a great idea of how the software helps them fill prescriptions. Now, how do you handle this kind of interruption without completely losing all your momentum? Well, obviously it depends on the situation. Maybe you can answer it real quickly and keep moving. Maybe it's something you can set aside and promise to discuss one-on-one with that person at the end of the presentation. If you don't know the answer, it's always appropriate to say you don't know the answer, but then promise to take it back to your team and get them an answer first thing in the morning. Here's a strategy you should consider, especially if the same questions come up repeatedly in your demos. I call it heading them off at the pass. Basically, supplying the answers to the questions before the audience ever asks them, or having a prepared plan that stops that part of a conversation and allows your demo to continue. If you're an experienced demo specialist and you recognize you're getting the same questions 80% of the time, you probably start integrating those answers into your demo. That's a good professional approach to handling them. But here's another way to head them off at the pass. Create professional documentation that contains the answers to some of these very specific questions and just hand out the documentation whenever those topics come up. I once worked with a demo specialist who did a great job and really connected with the audience. This person did not have a technology background and always got nervous whenever a technical question came up, even the most basic questions that he clearly knew the answers to. So we created a technology overview document and we included details of just about every type of technical area. Whenever a technical question came up, he'd just hand out that document and he would say, I think the details of the technical question you're asking is on page 7. Now, if you don't see what you're looking for, just let me know after our demo, and I'll be sure to get you in touch with somebody at the office who can answer your questions directly. And then he would just keep motoring on with his demo. It also became a great tool for the rest of our demo team. Even when they did know the answers to those questions, they could bypass that 5-minute detour they'd have to take to answer them, so they could keep their demo flowing. Several of the demo specialists just handed out the technology document at the beginning of each demo. That almost ensured there would be no technology detour once the demonstration started. I think it also makes a more professional impression if you have well-crafted materials designed to answer your customers' most detailed questions. So, do yourself a favor. Keep your demos flowing smoothly by finding ways to head your audience's questions off at the pass before they have a chance to derail you. You'll be conducting your software demo for the next 3 hours for 20 people. Now, while each of them will use the software, they'll all use different parts of the system. In those 3 hours, every person in the audience will see something that really applies to them and interests them. But also, every person in the audience will be bored some part of the time they're in the room, wondering what else they could be doing with their time. Now, a lot of demo specialists start a demo with an agenda that gives the audience an idea of how they'll spend their time. But a really great strategy to help keep your audience tuned in and knowing where you are in the demo is to present them with a visual roadmap of the demo itself. And as you make your way through the demo, keep coming back to that roadmap so the entire audience keeps their perspective on what's going on. That way, you set their expectations of where the 3-hour demo will go, and they know when their attention really needs to be focused. You've got a room full of people, and for the next couple of hours, you're going to be meandering your way through a software system. Maybe the demo takes 30 minutes, or maybe it'll take all day. Your audience has a finite attention span, and it's not unusual if the entire demo doesn't apply to everybody in the room. When you're talking about closing the corporate books at the end of the month. The CFO was on the edge of her seat, and the accountants in the room were probably pretty interested too. But the shipping department? Nope. A payroll clerk? Negative. So you know it's likely that some people's attention will wander during the demo. But it really would be great if you could keep them engaged, keep them asking questions, participating in the demo, and contributing to the conversation. After all, a great demo, just like any great sales presentation, is more of a discussion than a lecture. So here's a strategy to try. Mix up your presentation with different media and approaches to get your audience engaged and keep them engaged. This really works well for large groups or long demonstrations. And here are just a few ideas. Here's a great way to engage the audience, to illustrate a common process and then show how your system solves that problem. Set up a role play using members of the audience. I did this one time when demonstrating a procurement process to a big company. There were 20 people in the room and they all had to procure stuff, office supplies, equipment, those sort of things. They'd fill out their requisition forms and send them in, but they were completely blind to all the approvals, the copies, the signatures, the workflow that went on. So we set up a 5-minute role play of that process to order some pencils. We needed 5 people. The person who needed the pencils, his boss, her division boss, the warehouse clerk, and somebody in finance. We had a piece of paper as the pencil requisition, and then we moved it around the volunteers and talked about what happened to it and how long it took at each step. In that organization, it did take 4 business days to order and receive pencils. Then we demoed that same process in the software system and showed how it would take 2 to 3 hours instead of 4 days. Even though everybody in the room did not use that requisition functionality, the entire audience was engaged throughout that whole section of the demo. An easy way to break up the demo is to insert short video clips. You could do this to customer testimonials, or you could use it to demonstrate the role play that I just mentioned. With different people in the video, with graphics and music, it can be a great way to break things up for your audience and convey important information. But a caution here, keep the videos short, keep them to the point, and make sure you're not just substituting 5 minutes of your demo specialist talking with 5 minutes of somebody talking on a video. A neat way to engage the audience is to find a way for an audience member to drive your software instead of the demo specialist. So here's a suggestion. Right before a break in the demo, ask for a volunteer from the audience. During the break, 10 or 15 minutes, show them how to perform a simple but visible task in your software. A good example might be how to enter an absence report if they're going on jury duty or on vacation. That's somebody that will apply to everybody in the audience, no matter which department they work in. After the break, introduce that task and ask the volunteer to come up and show it to the audience. If it's truly simple and the volunteer does a pretty good job, it really engages the rest of her co-workers in the audience. It also conveys to your audience how easy your software is to use and that it won't take days and days of training for people to learn it. For a time, I used to demonstrate a clinical documentation system. It allowed clinical people to document the services that they provided, including their session notes. Those are things that happened with the patient during the treatment session. Now, the software had a text area where they could enter those session notes using their keyboard. However, clinicians could also dictate their notes using the standard features of a smartphone. And believe me, even though recording the notes via keyboard was cool, it paled in comparison to the reaction from the audience when we would dictate using the phone. So my last recommendation is that if your software systems have different interfaces, be sure to show off all of them during your demo. You never know who will be comfortable with different interfaces, and you want to make sure everybody knows what's available. Not everybody absorbs information the same way. Mix up your presentations to keep things fresh, engage different people, and keep their attention throughout the demo. It also conveys to your prospective customer that your company is bright, innovative, engaging, and would be a great partner to work with. There you go. Those are some of my favorite software demo strategies. Now, I'd like to turn it over to you. What strategies do you think you might try and see if it improves your demo? Do you think you can zip it during a specific task? How about giving an audience member the opportunity to perform a task during the demo instead of you? I would love to hear your feedback and your experience in this area. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below this video, and let's start a dialogue. Did you like this video? If so, please be sure to hit the like button below and also subscribe to my channel to watch all of my sales-related videos, including the others in this software demo series. If you want us to notify you whenever we publish new content for salespeople, head over to our website and tell us your email address. We only use it to let you know when new content's available. What idiot wrote this stuff? Where's the little clapper thing that says, take 25? Dang. Might outweigh any snazzer. They love the outtakes more than they love the real videos. What does that say about the quality of this material?